for the hottest news out of the obstacle racing scene? Want to stay up to date on the freshest info, the latest podiums, and hear interviews with the who's who in OCR? Well, you've come to the wrong place. Well, some of that you'll find here. But we're not the media. This is not ORM, OCM, OCRM, ORCM. This is OCR Talk.
Oh, I can't wait to hear the story.
Hello.
That looks going to be really cool.
Can you guys hear me?
Guys, this is Ryan Kempson.
Hey, Ryan. Yes, we can hear you. We can't see you, but we can hear you.
Nice. What's up, Miles? What's up, Miranda?
How's it going, Ryan? Good to see you, man. How was the course out there? It seemed like you set a commanding lead and didn't let up.
Yeah, I made a little move. Harry gapped Jordan enough, but he was right there. They're putting present pressure on me the whole race. A little bit long, probably 20, 30 degrees warmer. It's a really fun course. We go obviously up and down the mountain. I think you can see it on screen right now with Kris. It's it's not just on the ski slopes. They put us through the woods, pretty technical. A lot of water, a lot of crawls. Oh, there we go. Now I'm on.
Yeah, now we.
And really fun course.
Yeah, what kind of pace did you guys get out going up the hill? Oh, I'm sorry, Miranda.
I don't know. Logan and Jordan went out way too fast. It's interesting. It's big enough to be a mountain course, but it's short enough where they're not so sustained that you can kind of hammer for a few minutes and get by with it and torch yourself. You kind of have to. You can't really take it slow, and then it's a very fast-paced mountain race. This would be a really, really, really fun course to race and watch. As end of the year championship with a loaded field. It'd just be really back and forth because you come up. I think we went up the mountain twice, and then there's a mile and a half. There's a small section in the flat field, but it's flat through kind of a bog, woods area. So it's a really good balance of everything on this course. It kind of keeps you on your toes.
Yeah, I ran this race last year, and that I remember having that thought that there was a little bit of incline, there was some really flat runnable sections, and then they've got the obstacles kind of spread out in a really cool way. And I like how they have that gauntlet at the end where they've got quite a few kind of together. So super fun course. And it looks beautiful. Did you see some of those rainbows?
I didn't. Too focused on my feet. And the climbs are it's good. They're quite steep enough where you get a lot of power hiking, a little bit here and there, but it really is a course you have to run the whole time. So it doesn't slow down into a slog. It's a very fast pace from start to finish.
Do you ever try to? Is one of your focuses bombing? Oh, I'm sorry, Miranda.
Sorry, Miles.
No, you're okay.
My favorite obstacle, the carry and the barbed wire crawl. So the carry, we had to go uphill through a barbed wire crawl, and it was hard. It was probably, I don't know, a half mile, 3/4 mile. It's not heavy, but going through obstacles with a big log is, it's an obstacle. It's challenging. It's new. It's fun. It challenges you a little bit different way. And then, we had a lot of crossing water, and the barbed wire crawl itself is kind of what we saw years ago when obstacle racing first started, very military style, where they dig out trenches and there's mounds of mud, but there is a 1.5 foot of water that they pump into it. So you can't really see, all of a sudden you're crawling and you fall down, you submerge under the water. So it's great. And I love what Lee's been doing with these courses. They're not we don't have the hardest obstacles here, but they're challenging, they're unique, they make you think. And they're just little twists that keep us on the toes. And it's not standardized and straightforward, where it's some other race series have gotten to a point where it's more of the track and field, where you know what you're getting, you train exactly for something, you kind of know exactly who's going to do well going into it. This has that variability of OCR of old, and I think why most of us fell in love with the sport. Just more of a challenge than just showing up and running as fast as you can.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about that crawl in the carry, and I always love that, something interesting to make it a little bit more, just to change it up. And yeah, I love what you hit on, where it's not super standardized, it's changing, it's variable. To me, that's what makes obstacle racing more exciting, getting into the unexpected.
Yeah, I think we can put it as simple as it's an obstacle course. I think we forget that, and the sport has to evolve at some point, because what was an obstacle to the entire field at one point isn't, at another point. And it's not just the quote unquote obstacles, that, the mechanical things, it's the terrain. It doesn't have to be ridiculously rugged, but it should challenge us from start to finish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ryan, what do you think about the weight of the log? Would you like to see that log be heavier? That's kind of what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I think it would be a fun challenge. Today, they were actually soaked in water, so they were probably a few pounds heavier, and you could kind of feel it. I'm not sure, because it's heavy enough to feel it, but it's light enough that you can really run with it, which makes it kind of just as hard as if the weight was heavier. So I think it would be a good challenge. I actually, when I went into it today, I was thinking, I'm like, I wonder if they would ever put 2 for the guys. That would be interesting. I'm not sure. It's I like the log how it is, or board timber. I think would be cool is if maybe they threw another sandbag, like a sandbag, in at some point too, just something a little bit shorter and heavier, to really put a true strength component into it. I think that would be interesting, and I think it may actually change the race slightly.
Yeah, I kind of like that they don't do as many heavy carries. The interesting conversation we always have when you juxtapose Savage Race and Spartan Race.
Ooh.
Spartan Race seems to be more laborious tasks, right, and less obstacles, like heavy carries.
Sorry, Miles.
Like that.
Oh,
We've got Alex and Kris both on screen on the rig.
Yeah.
They both fell off at the same point. This is the battle for.
Yeah, so your hands are really wet coming out of Colossus, whole wet, and you get to that board, and it surprised me. Like, you really have to kind of bear hug it to get through it. So this will be interesting. Especially
a benefit you might have had is you were the first guy to get there. So by the time the ladies get there, all of the men have
there she goes down.
Their whole wet sports and everything all over it, which makes it even more slick.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Miranda. So it's painted wood, but it's duct tape on. So you see the top half that's silver, that's duct tape. They're both on the rig.
You think that gives it any kind of makes it easier?
No. It's just not. It's much more slick, and you just don't have the leverage. I think the key is, I've seen girls do it in the past, is almost like J-hooking a rope. You have to find a way to squeeze and pinch your feet on the bottom of it, because the bottom's wood. But the problem is they're going from that bar to that. That's just a long reach. They got to stay higher.
Alex is trying to skip it. It looks like it's possible. Oh, she got it.
Chris might get it. This will be. They're both going to get through. This will be interesting because we have the. Oh no!
Yes, Kris is through.
Race over.
Alex is down.
Nice.
If you guys have never tried,
Almost had a race.
Well, it's wet. Try it at home. They see just how incredibly difficult that is.
Hey, I'll let you guys want to jump on here? Yeah, they do. Hey, Hosek wants to talk to you guys.
Hey, thank
Ryan,
you so
good
much,
talking
Ryan.
to you, brother.
Great race. Congratulations.
I don't know if I can. Yeah.
All right,
All
so
right,
Kris
Kris makes
just a second. Kris just stepped over the line when she
Logan.
threw it, and it stuck. But you cannot make that step over the line.
See yourself do it. Let's go.
It's a re-
Are they bringing her back?
They did make her redo it. Yeah. Hey, Ian. Welcome.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Hey guys. Hey Miranda. Hey Miles.
Hey,
Thank you. It was fun. Almost. Joe and I had a nice battle with Logan as well, who's here.
Oh yeah.
That much of the battle.
Fighting for third.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah, it was a fun race. He got me on the rig.
hey, Ian.
Yeah, I mean, I'm making progress. 7th, 6th, 4th.
Yeah,
That's what I figured. I know this is better than the first 2 races and whatnot, man. And this is
Yeah, moving on up. It takes time.
area, right?
Yes, I would have loved the mountain to be like twice what I can get.
Oh, it's breaking up.
You're a
Like,
little
is that
choppy.
Kris going through?
Yeah. That is
Yep.
Kris.
I would
Kris and shout.
I would love the mountain to be about as 3 times as long, but that's okay. I'm happy to come out here, and it was fun to have some elevation.
Yeah, there we got
Wow.
Kris, our champion.
Oh
So
my
yeah,
gosh.
you said
Oh, as Alex failed again.
Kris and Alex came into the rig together. Or Alex actually had a small lead, and then she had to retry, and they both had to retry multiple times. And then they made it to the same point, and Kris got through, and Alex just fell one more time. But we still don't have 3rd place there yet, so Alex still has a 2nd place up for grabs.
Yeah, it's that wooden post with the duct tape on it, and the way I eventually got through is you just gotta squeeze it right between your legs and really grip it, because the duct tape you're pretty wet from the slide right before it. Here she goes. See if she can get it.
Yeah, the ladies,
Yeah, she
the
can
way that
skip
they
that.
did it first time is they skipped it. Yeah, they're trying to go to that hand.
There you go, Alex. Man, she battled.
I tried that, and I think if you want to skip it, you have to hold the rope and the bar and use the actual wooden post. You got to skip a little bit further.
Yeah.
This is hard to watch. We love Alexandra Walker, and she fought so hard, led it from beginning to end, only to get stuck on the 3rd to last. The finish line is in sight.
I think what probably hurts for her is this is kind of what happened at the last series race too, is she started with a lead, and then thanks Ian. Congratulations.
Ian, thanks, man.
Yeah, she started with
Logan,
that
here
lead
at
the
home.
whole race, and then same thing.
Logan, how's it feel running in your home state here, man?
Oh man, you know
How was it?
I love me some Ohio races. This is one of the first OCRs that I've done. I did a Spartan Stadium race down in Tampa earlier this year, but then I had pneumonia. It lasted about 2 months. I just came off antibiotics, so I'm bouncing back, but feel pretty good about the race today, given the circumstances, for sure. I couldn't miss an Ohio race, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got out blazing fast at that. How fast were you run? What was your pace running up? It was absolutely blazing fast.
You know, gosh, it didn't feel as fast as maybe it looked on camera. I figured everybody was with me. I didn't really look backwards, but I hope, I'm going to go back to tape and see if I went out a little too fast, which, some people never learn their lessons, and I'm one of those people. But yeah, I tend to like running hills. I even being from Ohio, I tend to enjoy some of the hillier races. Come on, Alex. Sorry, I'm watching this race while you guys are too.
This is Kaci Monroe. This is an interesting strategy.
This is Kaci?
Chicken wing. Yep, that's Kaci. There's Alex there. So Alex has retried quite a few times now, which just makes it rough on your grip. Come on. Yeah,
Kaci's through. Wow.
Kaci made it.
Wow.
She's going to claim that.
You know what? You see this year after year. Year after year in Ohio Savage in particular.
Yes.
You see folks who remember the Swiss cheese obstacle a couple years ago. Same deal, right?
I do. Yeah.
I think Amy Patrick came through pretty late after the there she goes. Pretty late after some of the lead women, and took a podium spot.
She did. That race that you're talking about, I remember. Amy won that one. They were like starting
That's
to
right.
question. Yeah. Yeah.
I wrote to the boomerang.
We need a boomerang obstacle out here. I've been telling them we need a boomerang obstacle for years, but nobody seems to listen.
You can carry one in your back pocket, and then when somebody's ahead of you on the rig, just like throw
I
it.
know. I needed one to catch Ian today. That's what I needed. I just needed to take him out with a boomerang, halfway up the hill. Sorry, buddy.
Now we have
This one was
battle
interesting for sure.
second place right here. Kaci Monroe and Jamie Horianopoulos, and they are like neck and neck.
That's a
but
finish
this
right
is gonna
there.
be
Here she goes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nice. Second place finish for Kaci Monroe. That is excellent. Congratulations.
Wow, what a
Yeah, she looks excited too.
Yeah, I bet.
next thing.
I can see the finish from right here.
And here we have Jamie claiming third. So what's interesting is we were talking about the race and the point series, right? So this finish for Jamie is going to make a difference in the series because now she might be able to catch Alex, especially if Alex has to sit at that rig for a couple more placements. She's only a few points ahead. So that is going to make a difference. Let's see the gap. Alex is sitting at 297 as Jamie is at 294. So they're only 3 points away from each other. So if 3 more women finish before Alex does, Jamie will claim that second point spot in the series.
Yeah, this is
just a real possibility given. Yeah, when you drop from that rig, right, especially when you're making it 3/4 of the way across and dropping, at some point you got to wait longer and longer to get back on. So, hopefully she's, got dry hands and, taking enough of a break.
Yeah,
to get there,
grip is
finding a dry lane.
More and more worn out. And she's already tried at least 10 times.
Yeah, and we're going right off of the slide.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever got
We're going from the water to this obstacle. Say that again. I'm sorry, Miles.
Have you ever been stuck on an obstacle?
Not really. No. I tend to take a little bit longer on some of the strength obstacles or anything where body weight has something to do with it. Saw a little bit of that today too. Ian was passing me out some of the heavier obstacles for sure. But I'm trying to think of a time where I've been stuck on a rig or anything. Never early season. Nice job, Kempson. Good job, buddy. All right, I'll see you in a bit. I'll give you a call. Sorry.
Logan, what was your thought on sling ring today?
Oh, sling ring.
Nice.
There's Alex.
No, I think I got it. There she goes. All right. This one was tricky for me for sure. The tire was all wet. Wow.
Her grip is
yeah, she does here. Oh, okay.
I thought they were going to send her back for that. They sent Kris back earlier.
Yeah, they yeah, I don't know if they said anything, but
I'm not sure if there was an obstacle attendant there to tell her to go back. So
right, exactly. It looked pretty legit. I mean, yeah, she's.
You have to go back and look at it in slow motion, whether or not the foot crossed over before it made the contact and everything. Go to the rule book and
I think she
look closely at the words.
It looked like the tire was released by the time she, kind of leaned over. So I think I'd give it to her for sure. Here she comes.
Yep. Going back to what we were talking about the mental demons, and because this is a point series, even though she's at a podium contention at that point, you still can't just give up. Some people, hey man, once they're at a podium contention, they want to walk off. But she knows that every point is valuable, and you have to fight off those negative thoughts and get over it, and she did. I know.
That's what's awesome about the series. Yeah.
She's
go ahead, Miles.
Competitive. No, it's okay. She's super competitive, and she will be thinking about this all week, man. This will definitely eat away at her. But what an amazing performance all the way up to the very end, man. She had a fantastic lead the whole time.
Yeah, I was wondering with how challenging it was, the fact that Kris and Alex had to retry a few times. I was wondering if the other ladies were going to have difficulty. But it might have been that, when you come to an obstacle and you are redlined, it makes it harder. So Kris and Alex might have just been, in a deeper hole than the other ladies when they got there. So it's just a little bit harder for them to get through it. So once Alex was able to kind of calm down her heart rate, maybe give her a few seconds to a couple minutes between her next attempt, then she was finally able to make it through. So sometimes that can make a big difference, which is what makes obstacle racing so fun, is that you do have that heart rate variability is going to play a big role in the obstacle, you know? Yeah, so fun to see.
Yeah, and so Logan, we haven't seen you in any of the other points series here for Savage, right? Right, this is the first one of the year for you.
Yeah, it is first one of the year, so I'm gonna miss. Well, I'm gonna miss out on the series just given because I missed the first couple. I was at American Ninja Warrior competing in LA for one of them, and then something else during the other. I can't even think of what it was, but so may not be able to focus on the series, but maybe it's a Boston Marathon or something the weekend of the other race. But I'll still be coming out. I may make Chicago. I may make Maryland. We'll see. Even if I'm not in contention for the series, I still like to get out and compete and have a good time. I'm gonna push these guys a little bit.
Yeah,
it's fun.
And every race matters. Every race matters for these guys. Just like you were saying, Miranda, right? You can't let off the gas if you're not on the podium. You got to keep pushing because those points matter, especially if you're planning to hit the qualification for the series.
Yeah. So the next in the series,
I love this.
Chicago.
Yeah.
What's next on your calendar as far as races? And are you going to OCR Worlds?
You know what? I want to get to OCR Worlds. It's the same weekend as the Chicago Marathon, so I'm going to have a tough decision to make. But you'll see me at a bunch of other races. I got to put the calendar out there and figure it out. It just depends on what weekends are open, and not focusing on any specific series, but I do want to make more Savage races just because these tend to be the most fun. So yeah, it's a good time. But hey, I got Kris over here, so I might let her take the mic real quick.
Hold on, how about we take a vote?
Jump in?
Logan, how about we take a quick vote? The marathon or OCR World Championships? All in favor of OCR World Championships?
I
All in favor of marathon?
The ayes have it. The ayes have it. Ayes have it by unanimous consent. By unanimous consent. All right, I'll see you guys at OCR World. Hey, hopefully I can get in shape by then. All right, guys. See you soon.
All
right.
All right, the incomparable Kris Rugloski. How you doing?
Made it. Pretty good.
So what was the strategy? You were behind, you were kind of closing the gap little by little on Alexandra up to those last obstacles. Was that part of your strategy all along? What was the strategy? How are you doing that?
More or less. I always plan to, like, the obstacles are kind of my thing. So I definitely, I don't stress a whole lot if I'm running behind, especially as long as I can keep the person in front of me, like, within sight. I know that, like, I'll make up time on the obstacles. And so I kind of conserve a little bit of energy for that, but also just, like, I'm not going to kill myself on the running, knowing that I can catch up, having a little more fun on the obstacles. That's kind of the general plan.
Yeah, we kind of talked about that a little bit. It looked like you kind of let Alex have her own race and you kind of ran your own race with that expectation that you'd kind of run a little harder at the end, versus I think Alex's plan might have been to try to make as big of a gap as possible, to try to hope to not give you that benefit of the obstacles at the end, right? If there's a big enough gap. But
right. Which I think is smart.
Yeah, you guys have different strengths, so that's a good way to play it. But what did you think about that final rake? How did you feel about that, having to retry? Were you feeling?
It was tough. I think it wasn't a very complicated obstacle, but coming fresh out of the water, that was like we're fresh out of water, so everything's very slick and wet. And there were just enough comments where it's like, oh, you had to really high enough up on the rope and the bars to be able to make it to that bell. So yeah, it was. I really enjoyed it. I like that it was a little more challenging, or at least like placed in a challenging spot to where it took a few tries. Like that to me, I mean, I love to get a first try, but if I have to try it several times, to me, that's a good rig. Then if it's challenging, the people that are supposed to be good at these, I guess.
Yeah, to me, there's something more satisfying about having to retry it and then getting it right. That factor of like, ooh, am I going to be able to get this? And when you get every obstacle first try in an obstacle race, to me, that almost takes away some of the enjoyment of giving yourself a challenge. So I love seeing that they finally added a little harder rig in the series, because last year my biggest disappointment was the ease of the rigs. So I'm glad to see that they've added give and take. They've added that sling ring, or the one where you traverse down the kind of slide with your hands to the ladder. I love that they've added some obstacles like that. It's really exciting to me. And how exciting was that finish today for us as viewers to see it come down to the rig? That's what I want to see when I watch obstacle racing. So yeah, that was super fun. How are you feeling fitness-wise? I keep seeing you on Facebook. It sounds like you maybe took some time off for off season, but now you're like getting back into training, feeling better. I saw you said you've got a lot less tape on you this time. So how's everything going with your season?
Yeah, I'm feeling fantastic. Last year I was throwing a lot of hundreds in, and that definitely took a little bit of wear and tear on my body. So I'm not dealing with that this year. The one thing I had earlier this year, I had several different ankle issues. So that's been kind of a ongoing thing. But thankfully it looks like I'm past all of that and just ready to race. My season's going great, and it's going to be a lot more chill this year. And I'm looking forward to just being able to enjoy all of it instead of trying to tape my body together by the end of the year. So
yeah,
chill for Kris Rugloski is everyone else's chill. It's like I'll do a few less 100-milers and maybe not go for a world championship, or maybe I will back to back.
Yeah, exactly.
So
something
what
like
are
that.
some key things that you're doing this year, or are you doing? Obviously, last year I think you did a lot of hundreds in preparation for World's Toughest, I think is what I read. So this year, are you just throwing in some that you want to do for fun, or maybe as milestone races, or kind of what is your race calendar plan for the rest of the year? Some highlights.
Yeah, the goal is always a couple hundreds, just because I enjoy them and I want to do them. Last year I ended up doing a series that I had to do all within a summer. So it wasn't necessarily prep for anything. It just happened to be the year that I got into all of these races. This year I'm just doing, I think, only 200s. The goal is to eventually do them in every state. So I'm kind of slowly working away at that. But other than that, I guess the biggest things I'm doing is more consistent. Last year, I kind of took the summer off of fitness and just played in the mountains for the summer. And this year, I'm planning to stay a bit more consistent on the fitness side of the strength side of things, I guess. And hopefully that'll help my body hold together better and just be more durable overall. So I'd say that's kind of the biggest change is I just happen to be doing less hundreds and planning to stay a bit stronger than I did last year.
Cool. Are you going to make it out to OCR World Championship this year?
There's a possibility. I have not decided yet. There hasn't been a lot of information out on it yet, so that's kind of what I'm waiting on.
I love that about you, Kris, that you've always kind of gone where your heart leads you. It's not all about a specific competitive goal. It's about, hey, you also want to have fun and enjoy life, and then be the best at whatever you attempt. And it's a nice line to strike. Otherwise, it could seem like work and take away from the joy, right?
Right. That's the goal. So, yeah, thank you.
All right. Any last minute things you want to say?
Thank you, Savage. I was thinking about that as I was running. I was like, I never ran this Ohio course until they made it part of the series. So I guess thank you, Savage, for putting on an awesome series and for, getting more people out to these different venues. It's a really neat venue and it's really cool to be here. So, thanks, Savage, for another great race. And yeah, definitely fun. All right. We've got some others here. Do you want to? Yeah.
Okay, good.
All right,
Kris.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thanks, Kris. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well done.
Here we go. We got some ladies on the rig. Covering the pro wave. So there is a time limit for everyone to know. You can attempt this as many times, but what would you say, usually around 2 p.m., Miranda? That's normally the cutoff time?
I think it's either like a 2 or a 3 hour time cutoff from the start of the men's pro wave. So we're not too close yet. Hey, Kaci, welcome and congratulations. Second place finish at a Savage Race Series. How are you feeling about that?
Pretty stoked. This is only my third race and second completed, so I'll take it.
Yeah, and that was a tough rig. Did you get that?
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, I did. Unfortunately, I saw Alex was there, and I was like, I have to make it on my first one. I don't think I could do multiple attempts because my arms were pretty tired. So
Yeah,
I had a lot of adrenaline, I think.
You started chicken winging it, which had me nervous because later on you have those straight pipes and everything, and you can't really chicken wing those. So I was happy to see that you were able to get through, even though it looked like your grip was tired.
Well, I've learned that chicken winging puts you up much higher too. So you start higher with chicken winging. Might not be the prettiest little advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting the physics of that, right? No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, how did you feel about this course, and your running?
Oh, I love mountains. Mountains are my jam. So I came in knowing that I had maybe a little bit of advantage running uphill and downhills instead of just the flats. So I was hoping I could put a little lead on some of the girls with that.
Are you an Ohio native, right, Kaci?
No, Montana.
Montana. Okay, that's what it was. I couldn't remember. You got to forgive me. I know I had a while ago, and I totally forgot.
That's okay. I'm from the mountains.
Yeah.
Are you going to be completing in the whole Savage series?
Yes. I'm going to attempt to finish it out now. And then DNF'd on a rig in Florida, and so I have to complete all the rest, I think, to be in this series.
Gotcha.
Well, got Chicago, then Dallas, and then the final in Central Florida. And that one in Central Florida is mandatory.
Yep. So I'm looking forward to that.
Cool.
So how have you been...
Sorry, what was that?
What other races do you have on your calendar? And then, Miles, you can get the next question. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. There's a bit of a delay.
Kind of up in the air, racing-wise. I have a 50K, the Rut in Montana. I'm doing in September. Not really sure I'll hit the next Savage race in Chicago, and then I'm not sure. I've kind of dropped back from the Spartan races this year just because there's no series other than the 3K and that one. So I'm just playing it by ear this year. But I do have a 50K mountain race on my schedule later on in the summer.
Cool.
Use the adrenaline. Let's go.
All right, Miles, your turn.
Battle for the top, at least.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I was giving some feedback, so I got to get the mic a little closer to my mouth. How have you been training for this? Is this your first experience with Savage Race? Because you've been doing OCR for a few years now, Kaci.
You're doing.
How did you start training for Savage Race, and what got you hooked?
Definitely not obstacles. I think that first race I did in Florida was an eye opener of just how much harder the rigs are. It's just the grip strength for Savage versus Spartan. Spartan's really standardized, so there's once you got the technique down, I don't know, you don't have to focus too much more on the new things. And so I like Savage because it's so different and challenging. So I've really been trying to work on my home rig and just grip strength in general.
It's right here. Just look.
Right there.
Yeah, that's the age-old debate we have in OCR, right? Mandatory completion against penalties. And it looks like you're going to join our side. I tend to agree with mandatory completion. I like mandatory completion.
I like mandatory completion. I think it definitely adds a different component. And I like that it's not just a running rate, like it is running, but if you fail, you still have to complete it. So should I tell him to wrap it up? Okay, he's saying to wrap it up.
Yeah, no problem. No, great talking to you, Kaci.
Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you, Kaci.
Nice.
All right, she made it through. We saw Rachel Corigliano almost made it through. She missed the bell by this much. It was so close. She had almost made it through. So maybe this is the 5th or 6th place woman.
I was 4th.
Quite tell who that is. Is it? No, because Rachel
Hey,
Waters
Alex.
already came through, and Alex. Hey,
So,
right at Texas.
Hello.
man, that must have been a rough finish. You led the race the entire time until the last 100 meters. And I know that that happened to you in the last series as well. Luckily, you still have a couple more opportunities. But tell us about your feelings a little bit about how you felt about that rig and how all that kind of went down.
I mean, yeah, it's not fun, but I ran a really awesome race and I climbed really well and I did everything that I wanted to do except for getting through the rig on the first try. But try number 7 was a charm.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Your running looked really strong. You've clearly been putting in the work. And I feel like had your heart rate just been a little lower getting into the rig, you would have gotten it first try. I mean, obviously you got through it, so you have that proficiency. You're able to do it. So I really hope that you're able to maintain that lead for the next couple races.
It's not really a heart rate thing because like heart rate wasn't the problem. It was that it was so wet and soaked from like us coming out of so once my body dried off after a while, I was able to get on everything and grab stuff, but I just was sliding off because I was soaking wet.
So we were
Yeah,
kinda
we
talking
had
about
everybody
the
talked
mental
about that.
the mental aspect of Alex as you led the whole way. You've got to try so hard to keep off negative thoughts, falling off the first time, and knowing the other women are coming behind you. How do you mentally not let those negative those negative thoughts affect you, or do they? Do they get in your head? How do you do that?
No, I mean, I'm here to have fun. And, usually race day is there to show off all the hard work you've done. So to me, I was just like, you know what? I'll sit and keep trying and keep trying. And at some point, my body will get through it. And if it takes, I mean, I've sat at a rig for 6 hours before in my life. So I'm not scared to have to sit there for 6 hours if I needed to.
Yeah, we got the race.
That's what it is. I had fun.
Still on it. Well, you did absolutely amazing. You were trying to send a message today, and let the ladies know.
I think that,
and I'm taking the points.
Yeah, I definitely want it, and there's a couple more races to go, and I'm just going to keep having fun going back and forth with Kris.
Yep. This so what's better to grip on this board? Is it the duct tape section or the painted wood?
It's having to transition, moving the poles out of your way. So like when you got from the pole to the board, and then you have to move the board out of your body's way to get to the ring that Rachel's on. It's hard to turn your body through it. So that's what made it difficult. But I was able to swing from the triangle ring thing to the bell. So that's probably the best option. Like if I was Rachel, that's what I would do.
We saw you
might have been considering that at the very end, skipping that final thing.
Yeah. Like it's definitely possible to do it. I like missed it with my foot and then barely hit it with my fingers, which surprised me. But that it's the transitions of moving the poles out of your way to get to the next option.
Yeah.
Is what makes it hard. So
what was your favorite option
rig
today?
Obstacles, it was more the climbing. Like I love being in the mountains, so I had so much fun like going up the first couple climbs, and then I actually had fun in the flat area too, like looking down at my watch and seeing like low 6s. I was like, oh, we're flying. So it was fun. It was more the course itself, not so much the obstacles. Oh, the carry was legit. Like that was the longest, most fun Savage carry I've ever done. They are stepping it up this year with the carries and adding like implements, but it was just fun to keep going up, and then have to fly down it with the.
Yeah, I love
talked about that a little bit. The carry was long. We mentioned that, and you kind of hit on. Miles keeps asking if people think they should make it heavier, but I feel like they can make it difficult by adding elements like you talked about. They add an obstacle in the middle, or they make it long, things like that. It's not a gimme, even though it's a light carry. It's long. It's kind of awkward. To me, it kind of hurts my collarbones on my shoulder. So I feel like it's challenging in its own way. So yeah,
I agree with that. Like the thing with the carry for Savage is you actually are able to move quite quick with it, and that is what makes it difficult. While if you had 60 or 50 pounds on you, there's only so much speed you can really move. It's more of a grind. While with Savage, it's more of a, you could actually on the flats run pretty quick with it, which makes its own difficulty, I think. So you don't ever get to bring that heart rate down during it.
That can make a big difference in the different athletes if somebody feels comfortable running with a carry versus if they don't. So I tend to lose ground actually on the Savage carry because I'm really bad at running with something on my shoulder like that. I think I don't practice that enough. So I think that can make a huge time differential there. People can make up time if they're good at carries. Like you said, if you're running versus walking, that's going to make a big difference.
Yes, I agree. I think that's what makes Savage different. Like I used to think the same thing as Miles, like, oh, if they made it heavier, a little similar to OCR World Championship, but the more I've done them, the more that it has its own difficulty having to move even with it on your back, and you get to move really fast makes it hard. And yes, adding that, like the last two races, it was the cinder block one that you had to pull. And then this one, like actually pushing it through the barbed wire was difficult because you have to figure out how you want to do it. Do you want to push forward? Do you want to pull it? What do you want to do?
Was it more difficult taking it through the water? No, and what is it, in Georgia, I believe you had to take the log through the water?
Yes and no. It was just different in the sense that like you just had to jump down in the water and just walk with it. I think it's more difficult to have to get down and crawl because you're having to use other muscles when you do that. Or like with the cinder block one, it was, do you want to carry it and the cinder block with you? Like there was like a trick to it. Like if you left it, you have to run back and get it. But if you carried it with you across, you save time. So it's almost like a puzzle of where you can gain time. People.
Yeah. That makes sense. You see the one lady hanging on the implement there. True test of your adductor muscles.
She's got a firm grasp with her legs down there.
Yeah, but usually when you're at a dead standstill like that, you're dead in the water. If you don't have any kind of momentum to reach that note, it's kind of like what I like that Alexander Walker was doing, is that when you would grab the implement, you're trying to pass. You're trying to pass the PVC pipe or the wood and grab that next implement by pulling back on that last hold and creating the momentum. I was saying earlier, it's
definitely a rig that you have to keep moving with momentum. Like you cannot stand still with it. There goes that girl. Oh, she's got it. Yeah.
Young lady. Oh, looks like she wasn't racing. She just wanted to try it. There's future of the sport there.
She might be an open waiver, and it looks like they're waiting for a part of their party to come through.
Oh, yeah.
So always impressive to see these young open wave athletes getting through the rig that, a lot of the elites are struggling on. I love that.
Rachel going again?
It is. I hope she gets
She's not going to give up. Yeah, we're all big fans of Rachel. We want to see her get through it.
Yeah. Sometimes this happens where she's got to retry something, but I feel like she almost always gets through eventually, even if she gets stuck. So I think she's going to get it.
I'm going to hand you over to Jamie.
Okay, Alex.
Thanks, Alex. Congratulations. Great race.
Bye.
Awesome effort.
Hello.
Hey, Jamie.
Hey, Jamie.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Congratulations on a great race.
Thank you.
How are you feeling?
I'm happy I survived. I don't have all this quote elevation to work with in Florida, so I was like, this is going to be tough for me. So I'm just excited.
Miles and I are both in Texas, so we're similar where we don't really have a whole lot of hills to train on here.
Yeah.
Well, I also lived in Florida. I lived all over Florida. I still have a 407 area code. Jamie, what part of
really?
Are you from? Yeah.
Newport Richey, so I'm a little bit north of Tampa on the Gulf side. Still flat.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, still flat. So beautiful runs, though. Yeah, you're one of the few athletes I haven't had the pleasure of meeting, so I'm hoping to meet you in person one of these days. But what an amazing job. What was that feeling coming into the rig and seeing that now podium wasn't within reach? What was going through your mind?
You just gotta go. Don't even just do it. You really can't think about it too much at that point. So if you overthink something, then you might make a little mistake or question your ability. And like, I know I don't normally have too much trouble with rigs, but I knew that it was also, especially if, Alex is having trouble and, I knew I had my work cut out for me, but I was like, I just can't think. I got to do it. So luckily I didn't fall off of it.
Rig that you were sitting in fourth and Kaci was right in front of you.
Well, as I was trying not to drown coming out of Colossus, I was told that there was still a podium spot open. So it's like, oh crap, I still have to push, which I try to anyway, but I had to push a little more. So I knew there was the possibility. So I just wasn't sure exactly how much space I had between where I was and where the finish was. So I just knew I had to go and I had to, so.
Yeah, so you ready for the next race? And we got to see how this is going to affect your points. I think this puts you up into second place in the point series, does it not?
She's going to maintain third, but she will have closed the gap. So you will be closer to Alex than you were previously.
Okay, well, I still have work to do. So still planning to do all the races in case I, have a race or two that I got to just drop. Hopefully I'll still be able to kind of maintain where I'm at or do a little better. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I am looking forward to a race that's slightly more flat than this one. So.
That's got to.
So I think all the races,
Savage
all the remaining
race,
will be flatter. Yeah.
Yeah, I've raced almost all of the venues, so I think that the venues that will be next will be pretty good, and I'll be able to do a little bit better. Hopefully, I can try to close that gap a little bit. I know there was kind of a big gap today, so still working hard, still trying to just maintain or improve my position over the next few races and see where it goes.
Yeah. I hope that you do better in the upcoming races. I think, like you pointed out, this race was hillier, so I think the gap was being caused by that. So I think that hopefully you'll be able to be a little bit closer on Kris and Alex in the next couple.
Yeah, I feel like Gainesville, I was a lot closer than anything. I mean, that's pretty flat. I mean, a little slightly hilly, if you want to call it that, for Florida, but I definitely had a better gap, closer gap there. So hopefully I'll keep continuing to close it. And, I would love to be able to get a better position in the points series. My goal was to really do better than I did last season. So far, so good. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Did you finish fourth last year?
Yeah, I did.
Cool. So you've moved up to that third place spot. If they keep having hard rigs, you never know what that can do for the series.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And it's funny that rig was kind of deceiving because we were looking at it and we thought this doesn't look overly complicated, but man, it's a lot more slippery than you realize, especially coming out of, being in the water and you're soaking wet and then having to do it. So
yeah,
that wood with the duct tape is pretty slick.
Yeah.
That seems to be the one that's getting most people.
Yeah.
It is. And you'll notice every single year, Savage Race brings in a new implement that throws it, whether it be a cheese board or laches. Now it's this wooden board with the duct tape. It's really cool how they innovate that, and everyone has to adapt, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's one thing that I really like about Savage is they're always trying to switch up the rigs and make it a little more complicated. And then even something like, we're going to take give and take and have it go up a hill instead of, flat, that can throw things off. So yeah, they're always trying to kind of tweak things and make it a little more difficult.
Yeah. Well, cool. Thank you very much for your time, Jamie. I'm hoping that we're going to be able to pull up some of the finishes. And congratulations on your finish, and we look forward to seeing you close out the rest of the series.
Thank you so much. Good talking to you guys. Take care.
Wonderful meeting you.